All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Be a Warrior podcast. I am so grateful to be back here, and I hope you are happy to see this again. I know it's been a couple weeks, and I apologize. It was truly, for those of you that know my journey, know that I was out in Boston for a unique experimental procedure and a revision surgery. It took about 4.5 hours, and I was there the week prior working on some things at the MIT lab that went along with the surgery that I was having done so that they can get some baseline information. And then I followed that up with the surgery, several days of healing, and then my final doctor appointment last Friday. And then we had one day and we were returning back here to Phoenix and literally got home, and last 2 days have just been tired. Like, it's finally, I'm home, right? If you've ever had surgery, now imagine having surgery across the country and a whole plane flight and the stress of that. And, of course I was worried about, blood clots and stuff like that, because that is originally why I decided to take my leg, is flying and getting a blood clot in an injured leg. So I had a lot of stressors, high stress levels, especially coming home. And I slept half the day Sunday and yesterday morning. And I'm just trying to get myself together now. So I am back. I'm so excited. And I am grateful for those of you that have been following my journey. I have this podcast, but if you are looking at my YouTube channel, I also have One Leg is Enough. And that's where I documented and have been and will continue to document little snippet shorts of, just like 3-minute videos on what I'm going through this day or that day. You'll see everything up to the surgery and after the surgery, even prepping for the surgery and leaving for Boston. It's all there. So if you're interested in all that journey, you can see a little bit more detail in the moment stops I took out in Cambridge and Boston and talked to you as I was going through it. And that is, again, One Leg is Enough. But here we are today, and I am back in the saddle. Literally, my seat is a saddle. Didn't know if I could sit on it with my new wound on my leg. And I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about taking the hard path. Most of you might have known me for years that are listening and understand that everything I went through from 2013 till my amputation in 2018 was enough to say I'm done. And you'd be right. And I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do this study with Mass General and MIT. But what ended up changing, and the game changer is I didn't want to just open up for the sake of science. I think it's intriguing. I'm very excited. I will do most anything in the name of science. I've done a lot of experiments and gait studies and things like that. But to have another surgical procedure that they have actually tweaked the way an amputation is done, it was intriguing to me, but a little scary, to be honest. I mean, I'm doing well. I was doing well. I've been walking. I've been doing my thing. I live my life. I'm content. But if you also know me, being content isn't always a good place for me. Being content becomes boring for me. And so I just kind of rolled the dice with the fact that I knew something was happening in my leg that I wasn't quite sure of. And I thought, if they find something that needs to be fixed, then I will go ahead, since they've got to fix it, go ahead and do the whole procedure and everything while you're in there. And if you don't know my story, they actually did find something. They actually found a loose screw coming out of my femur. It's more of a plug, but it literally is about an inch long. And I would say the diameter of almost a quarter was hanging out of my bottom of my femur and causing, I got a bursa, so I was causing a lot of pain. And that has been in there since my amputation. For 6 years, I have dealt with a foreign object kind of hanging out in my limb. So that was the reason why I chose to go that way and to do the surgery, because he was going to clean that out, get rid of the foreign object, clean up my femur, and then he could go in and do the AMI and a new TMR. And so that is everything I went through. It's absolutely crazy. If you want to know more about what he was doing, my last podcast on June 16th is Dr. Carty, who did my procedure, talking to me on my podcast about the Amy procedure and where it kind of originated from, why they do it, and what he was going to do with my particular case. So if you want to know even more and get really into the science of it, check out my interview with him from June 16th, which was my last one, seeing as I was extremely busy and extremely tired through those 2 weeks that I was actually there working. But now that we're back, now that the surgery's over, now that I'm feeling better, almost off my pain meds, which I'm so ecstatic about. It hasn't even been 2 weeks since my procedure. I'm starting to get a little antsy, which shouldn't surprise any of you that know me. But it also has a flip side, because I do know that I was asked by my surgeon for the next 2 weeks, just chill out. He kind of understands my personality. He gets me. And he said, just take these 2 weeks before I see you again to just chill out. So yes, I do go back in the middle of July to get my sutures out. And he really doesn't want me splitting those open or wrecking the stitching he did inside with my muscles, because this whole procedure was about musculature. And he just doesn't want me doing anything dumb. And so I've been told to chill. But it is a painful 2 weeks. One, I'm tired. I could literally sit around probably and be very content with just, binge watching something and be good with that, until I stop and sit back and look and realize that I've done nothing with my life for 2 weeks. And then I get the guilt. So there's this whole weird dynamics within me that some part of me wants to rest and some part of me is upset with myself when I rest. And I started thinking about this podcast today and realizing one of the gifts that I have been given by going through this again is the gift of seeing people at the beginning of their amputation and remembering, because I'm in the middle of it, what it's like to heal, to be patient, to take my time, to be cautious, and yet try to stay motivated. And I understand why motivation throws out the window, because quite frankly, anytime you feel uncomfortable after a surgery, you can't focus on anything else. And like I said, I'm almost off my pain meds, but that doesn't mean I'm not having phantom sensation that kind of like jump up, because all my nerves have been pissed off again. They've been rerouted. They've been messed with. My muscles are sore because they've been changed and moved. They've been stitched together. So I'm dealing with something else that internally I can't control. And I will tell you firsthand, I'm having a hard time getting motivated. And I do not like that feeling. And so I get you. If you're there and you're struggling right now, I totally understand. Okay, this is my second go around. And, and I said I wanted to title this Taking the Hard Road. And it really is. I could have been content with just staying where I was and doing my life. But the problem was that thing was in my body, and I knew that was never going away. And the doctor said it was not imperative to come out right this minute, but it has to come out eventually. And of course, I'm thinking I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm young enough to handle that surgery. I should just get it done. And since this other procedure is on my plate, might as well get it all done. And so that is the reason I took this path. But I also, I think, gained a lot of insight after having my amputation and knowing nothing going in and having a lot of fears, and then leaning into my faith and my Christianity and believing that God had a better plan for me. I started looking at this, and if you saw any of my pre-Boston trip little shorts on my One Leg is Enough, you'll know that I called it intentional preparation, which meant that I was intentionally eating well, eliminating drinking, getting my mind right, and getting my heart right, understanding what was coming and taking it head on and absorbing that, understanding it, and embracing it. So when we intentionally live, we can also then really appreciate every moment. And that was kind of the idea. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I swear to God, this is my last time opening myself up. I do not want to do this again. I can tell you that now. I said that before. I don't want to do that again. Even though it went really well, and I can't complain. This has been a much easier recovery, even despite the fact that I had to travel. And so I was staying in a hotel for a week after my surgery and everything. So despite all that, I'm done. I'm good. I'm good. But with the intentional preparation, I also noticed that I'm appreciating this a lot more and understanding that this journey I'm taking, which is definitely harder than the one I was just on, minus the pain I was feeling, is allowing me to maybe open up new doors, new possibilities, finding new people and friends to connect with. I got to meet fascinating people. Again, at MIT, get closer to the people I knew there already, really making connections, really understanding what they're doing and why they're doing it, and getting excited for the future. I also met some fantastic nurses at the Faulkner Women's Hospital, and it was a blessing to have people that cared for me with such intention that it made it hard to leave. Like, we connected. You know that when you connect with someone through tragedy, right, there is an instant closeness. They see you at your worst, you are vulnerable, and it's humbling to be in a gown around people you don't know. And so you get really close to those people. And I have to say, my nurses took really good care of me, and I am so grateful for them. I had a couple that were there more often than not, so it wasn't just a random rotations. It was wonderful to see the same faces show up, and it was just a great journey for me. And I'm like, gosh, that's only the tip of the iceberg. So people might ask, well, why in the world would you open up? And obviously, number one's reasons was to get rid of the foreign object and the pain that was going on in my body. But the reason I toyed with the idea before I even knew that was that there is something admirable about helping the future. I should see some of this coming out, but some of this might be well after my time or my capacity to take on that technology. But it will help our future amputees, our future community, and where I can give, I want to be able to give. And this was a place I felt I could give. Number one, I think I'm pretty strong-willed. Number two, I healed well the first time, so I was hoping I would heal well the second time. And knock on wood, the doctor says I'm healing great. So I've already got things going for me. And I think a lot of that has to do with that positive mental attitude. As I was raised in a family that always talked about PMA, positive mental attitude, and then visualization and manifestation, and believing that I have someone that's on my side that wants me to go down this journey for a specific reason that I may not know right now. So the hard path might look hard for some people, and those of you that have gone through amputation know you don't want to go through it again. At this point in your journey, wherever you're at, especially if you're new, you can't even fathom opening up again in a few years. And I thought the same thing until this opportunity arose, and it was intriguing. So being on that hard journey now, I am now intentionally looking for the opportunities that come forth to meet new people, to speak, to understand and empathize. All these things are what I get out of having gone through this procedure and going through a revision, basically a new amputation. And I'm hoping that God has that plan set in place. I know that he does, and he'll show it to me in his time, but I'm excited. So when I went into this, I was excited about what the outcome would look like and what my future looked like, because I trust that God has a plan for me. And so with that, I was able to go in very positively. The only really drawback I had was the nausea. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll go through a surgery, but the nausea is what kills me. Like, I'm the person that I tell everybody before I wake up, I will be like, as soon as my eyes start to flutter, I will be wanting to be sick. And sure enough, they gave me extra medicine, but I still woke up feeling sick and we couldn't control it. So I was literally an 11:40 a.m. surgery. I think maybe we started a little bit late, maybe 12. But I didn't get up to my room till 11 p.m. because, and I was the last one that came out of post-op to their room because I was so nauseous they couldn't move me. And they finally gave up. They said, we're going to have to move you. I know you're nauseous, but we're going to have to get you upstairs, because they were done down there. So I feel bad for the people I made stay until 11 o'clock that night, but they tried. And then again, I told you my nurses were fantastic. I went upstairs, I told the nurse I'm sick as a dog, and she gave me something totally different, and wham, it was gone. I'm like, I owe you my life. It was the best feeling to be out of nausea. So taking this journey is, I'm opening my eyes to the possibility and the joys that I will find, and the depths of which I can reach more people and help more people is what I'm hoping to garner from this. Not to mention the future of amputees, as I will be on that edge where in 6 months and a year I go back and they retest me at MIT to see how my muscles are working together, and how they handled the AMI. Because of mine being a revision, it's still new. The AMI procedure is being done now at amputation in some places in our nation, and a little bit around the world. But for what I went through, which is I've already been an amputee, they wanted to see if they could open up an amputee and do it. This is a new thing. So that being said, here we are on a harder journey. Here we are, all of a sudden I'm feeling the quietness surround me and the wondering what it'll take to motivate me. Because I know if you're there, I understand you. I understand that sometimes the pain gets the better of you, or the fear of moving can get the better of you because you just want to heal right. But then you also get bored. You get a little anxious. You're pent up. You can't really get out. I'm not driving. I want to be completely clear of all pain meds before I drive. And so I'm here. I'm here with me and my dogs, and hoping that I can find that motivation within. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. If this helps you, this would be our call to action this week. And yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I'm trying very hard to figure out how my podcast can grow and how I want to shorten it so that you can listen long enough to hear it all. But I think the call to action this week is to find your motivation. It happens within the evening before you go to bed and the first moments you wake up. So before you go to bed, what is it you're doing? I will tell you outright, that is my mind-numbing time with my husband, and we will lay in bed and put a show on until we pretty much fall asleep. It's a horrible habit, but that is one that has been there forever. And sometimes when there's phantom pains and sensations, the quiet can be overwhelming and more painful, make the pain feel more painful. And so having background noise while I try to close my eyes and find rest, but I can hear what's going on, allows me to escape some of that pain I'm feeling. But I will also tell you, I don't go to bed without knowing what the tomorrow brings. So here's what I suggest for the call to action. At night, no matter what your routine is, make sure you add in at least the mental notes of what tomorrow looks like to you. If there's anything on your calendar, any appointments that you have to go to, or any, people that are coming to your house for something, one thing or another, have that on your radar. And then have on your radar what it is you want to accomplish. What do you see happening for you tomorrow? And so for me, yesterday was, I'm going to try to make the bed and I'm going to try to clear the dishes while on crutches. And I did it, but I'll tell you what, I finished those 2 tasks and I had to sit down on the couch. That's what gave me a morning nap yesterday. I got those things done and I'm like, and it's nap time. And sat with my dogs and just cuddled up with my dogs and enjoyed the moment of peace. But have that going. Now the second part of that, the flip side is, after you kind of visualize what you want to get done tomorrow, the next time you wake up, don't reach for your phone. I can be very guilty of that. I want to make sure my kids haven't texted me or anything's wrong with my family or my dad. But don't reach for your phone. Wake up, take some nice cleansing deep breaths. Understand that you are alive for another day to achieve something else, that you have a purpose. And then decide how you're going to start your day and start manifesting the greatness that you want to see. And it's baby steps. Like right now for me, I'm in the midst of baby steps. I have sutures in. I cannot screw up. I can't move too fast and trip on something and fall. So I need to manifest the things that I can do. So for right now, maybe the best thing for me to do is making sure I don't have hip contractures, so don't sit too long. Do a little stomach time so I can stretch out my hip, but also try to elevate my leg so my swelling can start to subside because I am really swollen. But then I want to start making sure I journal every day, read every day. And then I'm in the middle of my very last equine therapy certification class. Yay! So I've got about 10 weeks and I'm done with my certification. So I've got that stuff happening and rolling through each week. So I have things that are due by Thursday. So I just have all that on my mind, that these are the things that need to be accomplished and things I want to accomplish. And the want and need are very different words that you can use with yourself. And I want to credit my husband for always telling me that, because I'm like, I need to get my podcast posted. And he's like, need or want? And I'm like, well, yeah, I set up the disaster zone of I need, and which puts pressure on me and anxiety. But I put the deadline of Wednesday morning posting on myself. But I want to do it. And wanting says I'm doing something that I love, that I've chosen to do. This is my dream. This is my desire. So what are the things that you want to accomplish? And that's how you want to start. And I'm truly saying this to myself because I feel the struggle is already starting to take hold now that I'm home, that it's very easy to slip back into a complacent behavior and not feel the best because I'm not doing anything all day with the guise that, oh, I'm taking care of myself because I need to take it easy. Yes, you do need to take it easy, but that doesn't mean you can't sit and read or do something that's not flipping through your phone or just watching show after show after show. Break it up. So I speak to myself when I say this, but this would be my call to action to you. At night, visualize the next day and decide what it is you really want to do so that when you wake up, those things are the first thing on your mind. And when you wake up in the morning, don't jump for your phone. Take some good cleansing breaths. Take your time, understand your purpose, understand that you are alive, that you have breath in your lungs, and then go out and attack the day as you saw yourself doing last night. And I think I'm going to start doing that today. I'm going to start manifesting and visualizing my future each day, what I want to do, especially with 2 weeks in coming down the road here. I'm going to go back to Boston for suture removal and a little bit more of a thumbs up now to maybe work out more or do things like that. And then also hit PT. So that will be on my radar as well. So I hope this helped. I'm so glad you guys are back. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for sticking with me through my quiet 2 weeks of silence here on my podcast, but I am back. I hope you're having a really awesome summer. I hope that you're feeling good. And if you're not, please reach out. I would love to be there for you. And if there's any ladies listening, you're an amputee or becoming an amputee or think you might, or you're supporting an amputee, please try to jump on our Wednesday night chats, Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night chats. They're on our Facebook events. I would love to meet you and see if you might find some comfort in having like-minded people surround you once a week. So try to join us. But I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I hope that you know that you are an amazing person and a warrior, and you gotta just find that warrior deep down inside of you. But until then, until next week, until I see you again, and as always, be healthy, be happy, be you.